Hello future tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Today we will just go through the top items which are not important. It's quite complex items, like it's not used all everywhere, but we'll just let you know how it is, what it is and where it is used. Okay, first item is holiday profiles. I'll tell you what it is. Holiday profiles. I showed you that we can assign holidays through payrolls. There is one more way to assign holidays, which is through holiday profiles. You can create different profiles and different holidays. So if you see here, holiday profiles means you can give one name to it and we need to select a particular credit role. If you have gone through here, I have already told you about the holiday credit roles. So how many hours to credit, whether it should be fixed hours or hours based on schedule. These are the items which we do in holiday credit roles. What holiday profiles means, we can directly assign a particular holidays and credit roles through payrolls. Or we can do it through holiday profiles also. Holiday profiles also. We can create a holiday profile and we can assign it to an employee. There are two ways where we can do it. We can do it through payrolls or we can do it through holiday profiles. Holiday profiles will be helpful in a way that if your holidays are location based, example, if you take India, each state will have a different holiday. If it is the same type of employee, also based on his working location, his holiday will differ. So in that case, assigning holidays through payroll will not be a good idea. In that case, we can go with holiday profiles. For each employee, based on his working location, we can create a holiday profile. Example, see here, holiday profile URL. Similarly, we can create location-based holiday profiles and we can select what holidays for that particular location. So, whatever the holidays we have created under this name, this is a master sheet. It will have a list of all the holidays, national, state, everything. From that, we will have all the holidays which are available. There we can pick up what holidays are needed for this particular country. If it is Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, we can create one profile for each and select the list of holidays needed for that particular state. This we can directly assign to the employees. People tab itself. So that is about the holiday profiles. Then another item here is cascading policy and cascading profile. I will give an overview when we go through the approvals, because it is somewhat related to the approvals. So I will give you an overview when we go through that. Now wage profiles. I think we are not using it anywhere. Let me see if someone has created anything. No, they might have not. Person allocation rule is also not used. Adjustment rule. I will teach you what is adjustment rule. What is this adjustment rule? If an employee is working in a particular department or particular job, if you want to give him some bonus or some fixed payment in addition to what he is getting. For example, in India, we will give Diwali bonuses for people who are working at a lower level like janitors, security people. We will not be getting any bonus because we are doing white collar. But other people who are at the lower level, they will be getting bonuses for a particular job. So these kind of things, we can achieve it through adjustment rules if you want to give a particular bonus. So here we can choose for whom we need to provide it, either directly through the job or through the labor account. I will show you where these job and labor accounts come in. So the labor account is the primary labor account which is attached here. So based on a particular, I am going to give only for this healthcare Australian nurses. If I choose this particular labor account only for this nurse, this particular rule will be enabled. This is not widely used, but in the interview perspective, if someone is asking a question like what is this, you should be able to answer on that what exactly is doing. You can give a bonus or we can give a wage adjustment. Bonus means nothing. In both items, you need to pick a labor account. In my case, I am not saying anything. I am going to choose which company, which job, which department I am going to pick. Okay, I will go with. First, let me pick a region. Then a tuition, then maybe healthcare. Then facility. I am just giving you an example. And it is not mandatory that we should have everything. We can have one item selected from here. And whoever is having this job, we can give them a bonus. Or whoever is meeting these 4 conditions. For them, we can give a bonus. It depends on our convenience. Like what is our requirement? We can just have one field, which is job registered nurse. Whoever is having this labor account value, registered nurse will be getting it. But now we have chosen these 4 conditions. Whoever is meeting these conditions, they will be getting a bonus. So if we give like this, so only these employees, whoever is meeting these conditions is eligible. We can select a particular pay code under which we need to give a bonus. Whether it is a regular overtime or we have a separate code for bonus. Under what pay code we need to give them a bonus that we can define. And again we can see how much we need to give. It is a fixed amount. How many hours we need to give. And it is like how much. Even if you choose 10 hours, whether it is only once or it can be continued. These items can be chosen in this adjustment rule. Mostly, for what purpose these people will be using this? They will be using it just for providing some adjustment if an employee is working in a different department. Examples say I am from a particular department. I am going to work in a different department. In that case, I need a separate rate. Or say, I am from California, I am going to work in another state. So that state they might have a different age rule or adjustment. In that case, they can use this, they can select. If the employee is going into this particular rule, then he needs to get an additional adjustment. Add 1 hour to his working hours. Whatever he is working, he should get an additional hour of payment. Or we can give a multiplier. Example, if he is going to work in a particular department, then we can give a multiplier. You know the multiplier. We can choose it as 1.5. It will give him a 1.5 rate if he is working in this particular department. If it's a flat rate, we can choose a particular rate and give an amount. It will give that additional amount is extra. So this will be applicable only if he goes and works in this department. I might be from a different department. This is directly assigned to each employee's person and job itself. Whoever needs this, only for them, we can create it and add it. Mostly, we will be using it in some retail businesses where the employees will be switching to different roles frequently. In that place, a few companies might be using this. Where is it? One sec. This adjustment role, person allocation role, everything. If you need to map it, you can directly map it in this. Where is it? Yeah, here. You can map the adjustment role and person allocation role to an employee directly on the Pro Allocator itself. Currently, we don't have anything. I'm leaving it like that. That is all about. What are the items we have here? The person allocation role. Holiday profiles, we will be using it. Some companies might assign holidays through payrolls. Some companies will still use the holiday profiles to assign it. There are two ways. Adjustment role, person allocation, wage profilers. These are very rarely used. Only from an interview perspective. You just need to know what it is. Today I'll go through a few other lighter topics about the comments. I have already showed you what the comments are about. In the comments, we have something called comments. What this is used for is if you go to an employee's time card. Let me choose our employee. Change mode. If I go to an employee and put in a punch, maybe I'll go to the previous paper. We have punches like 6 am to 4 pm. Sometimes an employee might come at 5 am as requested by the manager. If there is some discrepancy in the time card, say it is stating unscheduled or something like this, there is an exception. Say an employee comes in at 6 am and leaves early by 2 pm. In that case, the Kronos would flag it as early. But the employee has informed the manager that he has a medical emergency or he has a personal emergency. When someone else sees his time card, they might note he's leaving early. If a manager wants to put a comment here and make it visible to everyone, stating the reason why he have left early, it would be ideal in most situations. For that, what the manager will do is he'll just click on it. Once he right clicks, he'll get these items like Mark has debuted, edit and comments. He can choose the comments here. There are a set of comments which will be already inbuilt in the system, or we can even create it. Whether he has informed on his absence or whether he has not informed, like in my case. I'm choosing a comment. We can create a number of comments. I'm choosing a personal emergency. I'll add it. Now we'll get a comment symbol here. Whether it's a manager or payroll admin or OPC or HR, whoever goes in, he can go here and just see. Okay, this guy has left early on 2 p.m., but it's for some valid reason. There's some personal emergency. That is the reason he has left the factory or the company. So where we created these comments is in this place. Under setup, under comment setup, we have comments. Here is the area where we'll be creating these comments. If you see, here we have a set of comments here. So this is the place we'll be creating those comments. Comment profile is nothing. We will group comments into different profiles. Say example, I want a particular set of employees to see only a few comments or a manager to see only 3 comments. Then I'll choose those 3 comments and I'll put it under a name and I can assign it to directly the employees people editor so that he will be able to see only those comments. Just to filter out what like visibility of comments. We're not giving all the comments visibility, but just a few comments. For that, we can go ahead with comment profiles. Now let me take you through some other items like server, like where the server address would be, like how many licenses we have, these details. Everything is available under system configuration. So we are not supposed to make any changes or anything, addition creation, anything under this. This particular module is read only. You should only go to see the details. That's it. So under system configuration, we have an option called system information. This is like a setup to the Kronos itself. So here we can see what are all the servers. This particular instance we have. Since this is a web like cloud based instance, we'll have only one application server. That's it. If the Kronos, currently there are 2 types. We can have a cloud instance or on-premise. So if it is on-premise, they will be using maybe 2, 3 servers to do different jobs. Mostly, but if it is a cloud-based application. Currently, people are migrating to cloud only. It will have maybe 1 or 2 servers. That's it. Right. And if you want to see whether the server is working correct, you can click on this. So it will show you the heartbeat. It should fit some heartbeat. It should not be seen. And you can see the status as connected. That means it is currently connected and it's communicating properly. So this is about the web server of our current instance. Even if someone is asking, like there will be a third-party tool, how to connect with our server. If you just click on the server name, it will give you the IP address. What is the host name? What are the other URLs? How to connect through this? So we'll get those details from here. So this is about the details of the server. And then if you go here applications, once you can notice the application, I think it will be there. So this is again other models, whichever is attached to it. So if someone comes and asks like what version of Kronos you are using, and particularly each model, what are the versions you are using, just you can go through and just say like 8.1.9. It will be available at the top of the URL itself. If you want to be specific with what item exactly you are using, like you can come here and see it here. Okay. So this is the version. They will be upgrading from one version to another. Currently the latest version is I think 8.114 or something. So each version will come up with some certain new features and will overcome previous versions' failures. So this is where we check it out. So these are different models available within Kronos and what version each item are there in our particular instance. Mostly all the items will be in the same instance. Unless a client requests like I need only these instance like these particular model items to be in an older version, then the system, the Kronos people will help them to keep it only that particular item in lower and other items in the recent version. And then here, if you see, we can also get the details of the database. So first thing, if something is not working, check here whether the database is online. And if you want to connect to the system's database, this is where you can find the details like what is the server name, what is the database servers, how to access it. This is the like idea how you can use these tricks or some other places to access the database server for this particular instance. Oh, so we see how the server is working in our items. And the next item is the licenses. So how many employee licenses we have? That means in this instance, you see here, workforce timekeeper, we have 1,900 licenses. And 43 is in use and still we have others. That means we can load up to 900 employees in this particular application, this particular instance. We can load even 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs employees, but we need to purchase the licenses from the Kronos team. Currently, this instance CloudFoundation has purchased 1,900 employee licenses and 755 manager licenses. That means we can have 900 employees and up to 755 managers in the system. So we have to pay per person, right? Like license-wise. It's not per person. It's like if you purchase 2,000 licenses, it's this much rate. If you go for 10,000 licenses, this much rate. That's it. Okay, and some places it's a one-time cost. Some clients will be paying it yearly. So this is the area where we can see those details. So what are the models we have access to? So based on the licenses we have, that's it. This is not the application in the implementation project. Approximately how many developers will be, as per your experience. The implementation project depends on the client's timeline and the number of modules they're going to implement. Some clients will have a simplified example. There are even more modules compared to this. There will be a budgeting setup. Everything is there. But mostly clients will be using pay policies, actuals, or organizational setup scheduling these items. So it depends on the employee count. So if a company is having maybe 15 salaried employees and they're using basic items, In that case, they can implement Kronos by having mostly what happens during the initial implementation. The bulk of the work Kronos takes for the initial implementation, because they need to give the license, they need to implement the modules in the system, and then you need to give them your requirement and they will do the initial configuration. Some places you can have a discussion with them and the configurations you can create initially. But integrations and other stuff, for the first time they will be doing it. So if you have around 50,000 employees and you have a basic setup to be created, you can have 5 to 6 resources for the initial implementation from your end. And Kronos will give you a dedicated team based on the workload. And you need to have interaction with them. And what our work will be for the initial implementation, testing out what are the features they are providing us, whether it is working as expected. But once we go live and say, okay, we are going live with a part of it, we have 15 sub companies. First, we have implemented Kronos to 1 or 2 companies. And then we are going to implement it through 1 company per year or 2, 3 companies per year. In that case, you will want the bulk of the workload. Because once it is implemented, you will have access to these modules. So integrations and other items, maybe a few stand alone so you can get the support from them. Apart from that, all other pay policies and other things if you want to do this. If you have maybe 2,000 employees per sub-company, you might need to have a double day if it is 2 Zanzin. Approximately, it will take 6 to 8 months to go implement the Kronos to them. And you might need at least 1 resource to support from the Kronos end and 3 Kronos resources at your end. If it is 2,000, 3,000 employees you need to implement within a 6 to 8 month time period. You might need 3 Kronos resources at your end. For the integration process, they will be helping out like the Kronos side. Yeah, they will be helping out as a developer. We need to have that knowledge. Yeah, mostly Kronos people, they will be having knowledge of integration also. So initial integration is a basic integration like loading the persons into the application and doing the self-setup. They will have a default template and there is a cost attached to it. They can apply it to you on initial implementation. But if you want your own customized one, you can also develop it from scratch. Like Kronos people, mostly they will be having knowledge of integration at this point. So they can self-do it. I'm telling you, along with integration, 3 people is enough for doing the migration process. So because integration-wise, it depends on the client. Most clients will be using only simplified integration, like loading the people into a system, and payroll is going to be the same for all the people who are in a particular instance. Other than that, a few fine-tuning integrations, it won't take much time, more than 6 to 8 months. Say 3 people you have, you can use one of them for integration and 2 is enough for configuration. Abhi, I have a question. So let's say you get a requirement from a client to configure the payrolls and stuff. So once this is done right, I mean in the real world, what does it happen? Like you wait for the next project or how things go as an expert. It's like how you have the projects. It's not like you only work on implementations. You'll be supporting them. Like a support desk if they want further help. Is that how it is? No, they will raise tickets. You'll be working on the tickets or user stories. It depends on the project model whether you are on the waterfall or agile. If it is agile, what type of agile it is? Agile means you will be getting works based on sprints. A sprint can be either 15 days or 21 days. So each 21 days you might be assigned with a user story. You need to work on it. And once you complete it next week, they will ask you to do something. They will always have work on that. Agile is like that. Based on that, how much work will be there. Planned on that, they'll be having resources. If it's a waterfall model, you will have daily activities, weekly activities. If you are from the support team, if you are from the development team, whatever the issues they are facing with any of the existing policies or existing integrations or existing uploads, that will come to us as a service request to you. You can work on it. And if there is any enhancements that needs to be done that you can do, or if there is a new policy that needs to be created, that will come to you. So what's the scenario like on a daily basis? Is it like a lot of the environments are waterfall, or like what kind of scenarios? There are companies which doesn't fall into any of this category. Also, they are not following any process. They are just like sitting in town. But companies are going to use either waterfall or agile. Agile is actually used in areas where they go ahead and make multiple enhancements. And they are on top of their work. Their project will be very much standardized and stabilized. So initial implementation, people used to go with the waterfall. And once somewhat the project is getting stabilized, then they might choose agile. And some companies, they will stick to waterfall itself. Like when work comes, we will do other. Like the rest of the time. It's like maybe we can have our enjoy our time. It depends on the client and the agreement you have with the people. Whether you work or not, you're going to get paid. That's how the most of the agreement is. Per hour, this much is the dollar. They will quote and they will sign the agreement. So it's like the client is supposed to give you work. What we define is this much amount of work will be done from our team. That's it. So if they don't give that much amount of work, that doesn't mean it's not going to bother us. The client has to pay for that amount of work. That's it. Again, an agile model is the same. They're like we will be promising, we will be working these number of points for a particular sprint. It is the work of a Scrum Master or someone from the client side to create that many user stories and give you that many points for a particular start of the sprint. If they're not able to provide, say, 100 points as promised for a sprint, they're not able to bring 100 points user stories. Whatever they're going to bring, we are going to work on it. That's it. We cannot exactly define it how it works. So, getting to a project, you will get an idea. It's entirely different for each project. Some projects, the work will be hectic. Some projects, it will be very lenient. The client will be very supportive. They'll give just a minimal work. They'll ask you to work only for 3 to 4 hours per day and dedicate your other times to the calls. Some projects are like that you'll have more calls. Agile model mostly will have around 2.5 hours call per day. Got What I'm telling you is, I cannot generalize how it will be. Each project is different. This is the major area which is needed for all the projects. Most work will come in this and this, even if it is agile or like waterfall. Because when a population moves into the corners or an existing population is facing issues, mostly it will be accruals and pay policies and then integration. So integration we are not touching because it's completely on a different pool integration tool. But these two will be giving the bulk work. And then there are other items which will come once in a while, like changing the access profiles or changing some display items, creating new genies. These items will come under. I'll take you through these sessions after the accruals. You'll go through access profiles and display profiles. So these are the works that will be coming up, but it will be very rare. Mostly we'll be using this to be what we have already the system, or maybe 1 or 2 announcements in a year. And for data integration prospects, even if you use any of the integration tools, you need to have these connections to be set up in that particular integration tool. If you go to data integration, you'll have connections. In that connection, if you open, there will be 3 connections. So this is the connection which you'll be using to communicate with this particular Kronos instance. They'll be asking for what is the database URL, what is the username password. This is the details which you have in the system itself, and also XML API connections and these items. Whatever the connection strings are there, it will be stored under data integration connections. And one more thing which is available here is map folders. You'll have VMN and viewed. This is directly stored under the server, under these folders in server system, under C Kronos, under interface designer. We'll have these 2 folders. This is specifically for VMN, is for the folder for the integrations, which fetches data from a third-party system and loads it into the Kronos. Example, the employee details mostly flows from SAP or from Workday. From there, we'll get an input file. That input file should be placed in this folder. From this folder, our integration will pick whatever the input file is needed. Our integration will pick it from the VMN folder and we'll load it to our system. Again, payroll and other things where we fetch the data from our Kronos instance and we are giving it to a third party. The data from our system we are fetching and giving to the other third party. So those integrations, they will run and complete and they will place their files in VUI mode. So inbound interfaces, they will fetch the input file from the VUI main folder. YMOT interfaces, that is outbound interfaces, will fetch out files from YMOT folder. So these are the default folders for storing an input file and storing an output file. How frequently will the data be pumped into Kronos in the environment? Can you repeat once? How frequently? Employee load happens daily. On a daily basis, there is an integration called person import and employee import. The clients will be naming it differently based on their requirements. but it will happen on a daily basis. Usually maybe 2 am or 3 am of the client's time. So that each day we will get a record from the source system. It can be SAP, it can be an employee center, it can be a workday. Or it can be just a flat file from someplace. Just an input file. We have a possibility for how we can get in the data. I think they are doing it through a manual load. I am not sure. I don't see any integration currently running up. They have integrations, but I am not sure how they are doing it. We don't have server access for this particular instance. Even if you don't have server access, some places will give you this. Clients will forbid you from server access, but they will give you some FTP access. They will give you some URL from where you can access these folders alone. So we can upload or download from these folders. We cannot delete or update, but we will be able to upload something and download something. So for a particular integration to run our test, we need an input file. They will give an FTP access. They will give an URL that will open this folder. We can upload the files, run our integration, test it out, and then we can sign out from it. Similarly, we can run an integration and go to this folder using the FTP access. We can directly put it in the Chrome. It will open this folder. We can download the file and verify it. So to the integration tool and other items. It's a completely different URL. They will be giving some Citrix access or some other third-party access. Once you log in through that, you will be able to see the integration database and the reporting tools and other designers, other suites, etc. And mostly each client. Whatever the client is, they will have at least 2 instances. One is the production, which is live, and one will be their development or test environments. The lower end environment, where we will first create our configurations and the integrations, everything. We'll test it out in the lower end environment and then we'll move to the live production. We will never make any changes directly in the production system. We'll create it in the lower end environment and then we'll migrate the changes to the higher end environment. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.